We hope you're having a lovely intermission. It's a chill vibe, am I wrong? It's kind of a chill vibe.
Oh, totally chill.
I think we should not mess up that experience. We should keep it chill.
Keep it chill.
Because what's more chill?
Chill, man.
Exactly.
Keep it chill.
No, there's no more chill person on the tour
Chill.
than the fellow we're about to bring out.
Guest.
Next guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host for the day,
So chill.
our friend, America himself,
It's very chill.
in human form, Mr. Jason Mann! Cars for kids. AARS cards for kids. 1877 cars for kids. Jason Mann is on the stage. By the way, this is the one guest this is actually a good song for.
Ironically, this is the song Jason Mann wrote.
And I'll say, from this side of it, I see why none of the guests are happy about it.
Yeah, I also see why it's sending off the audience.
Hey, we've succeeded in keeping everyone away.
Yeah. But this does kind of, if you think about it, it's a good partner to, is there a doctor in the house? And some of your other mellow hits, do you know what I mean?
Do you think that they're all waiting outside until we finish the intro song? And
I do not.
Will come in?
Yeah, there's going to be a rush of people coming.
I don't.
No, do not.
Listen, I think this is great, because now you've got an intimate setting to do a little like time with Jason at Cars for Kids Con.
So everybody should just come to the front of the stage, don't you think, Jason, for this?
I mean,
I think we would get
angry
in trouble
letters.
for that.
Yeah, you're gonna get people fired, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Mann, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for that warm-up, Rich. Hi. Who's brand new? Who's never been to one of these before? Okay. My name's Jason Manns. And if you haven't had the chance to lean over to someone that's sitting near you and go, who's the big guy on stage? I had, I'd say at least 12 seconds of a song on the show Supernatural. And as everyone knows, everyone in Hollywood knows the rule. If you have 12 or 13 seconds of a song on Supernatural or on any show, you automatically get to play conventions for that show for about 13 years. I don't write the rules, but that's just the way it goes. They ask me, so I say yes, because it's always a really fun gig, and these guys are hilarious, so it's fun to hang out. But this is my concert. It's also my Q&A. We call it a quancert. Thank you for laughing at that. I really appreciate it. This is going to go well. If you have questions, feel free. Do you have a question?
Well, Jason, you always tell people you have 12 or 13 seconds on the show, but you never tell them what episode or any other details. So
Sometimes I do.
I've been to like 9 of these, and I've never heard you give any details on what episode or what happens.
Do you have a question?
What song do you play on Supernatural?
What episode and what goes down?
I don't know. I'm kidding. So,
Tell the new people.
yeah, episode 1 of season 4. Many people say it was the ultimate episode of the entire 750 episodes that they've done. Mostly because Misha appeared in it for the first time, but also because when Dean comes back from hell and Sam's been driving the car, and he has a moment with the car because he's missed it so much. And then he gets in, and there's this beautiful little white iPod, which offends him slightly, but not as much as when he starts it and the beautiful voice comes out of the speakers that is obviously not AC/DC or Led Zeppelin. And the sacrilege is too much for him, and he takes the iPod and throws it. That was me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Will you sing Cry to Me?
Sure. I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the funny thing is, I was buddies with Jensen for a long time before the show. And so, I mean, I remember when he auditioned for the show and then got the show. And we'd take road trips up to Vancouver from LA, when the season started or whatever. And he would always say stuff like, "Oh, we get you something on the show or whatever." And then I met Kripke, and Kripke was like, "Give me your stuff. I'm gonna put it on the show. Give me your stuff." And at the time, I had one album, and it was all love songs. And I handed him the CD, and I was like, "Listen, I like your show. And when you take this record home and you listen to it and you realize that you've done a terrible thing, which is promise to put this music on your show, and you listen to it and it's all love songs, I'm not going to be offended when you go, it's not particularly right for a show where two dudes drive a muscle car and shoot things. I just want you to know I feel you. So I'm not going to hold you to it or be mad." And he thought it was very funny. And so then when Jensen called me to go, "Hey, we found a spot for the song. I'm not going to tell you much about it, but it's going to be on." So anyway, I watched it. I thought it was hilarious, especially because of the conversation that we'd had with Kripke. And it made a lot of sense, So anyway, that was the story. Kind of fun. When your baby leaves you all alone and nobody calls you on the phone, don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crying? Here I am, honey, come on, cry to me. When you're all alone in your lonely room and nobody call you on the phone, don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crying? Here I am, honey, come on, cry to me. And oh, nothing can be said in a glass of wine alone. Loneliness, such a waste of time. Oh, you don't ever have to walk alone. Oh, you see. So come on and take my hand and walk with me. When you're waiting for a voice to come in the night, there's no one. Don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crying? Here I am, honey, come on, cry to me. Don't you feel like cry, 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 cry to me. Thank you for the question and the request. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm really good.
Good.
I've been to several of these things, and I know there's always been reference to you knowing Jensen when you guys were younger, even I think, rooming or something with you and Steve and Christian and whatever. How did all that come about? Because honestly, of all this time, I didn't ever hear that part of the story. If you've told it before, I'm sorry, but I've never heard that.
I'm legally not allowed to tell a lot of the story. No, I'm kidding. So after I grew up in Virginia, graduated from college, moved to LA. And very long story short, somebody took a video of me singing and sent it to this radio station. And they were doing some contest, and Ryan Seacrest called me live on the air and was like, "Hey, you're a finalist in this contest in LA." And I was like, "Who are you, and why are you calling me at 7:30 in the morning? That's inappropriate." And I kind of thought it was like a joke, like a practical joke, but it wasn't. And so we did a bunch of stuff. We, played a bunch of big shows and did some stuff on TV and on the radio. One of the guys that worked at that radio station invited me to a Christmas party, and I had been in town for 2 months, so I knew no one. And this was 20-something years ago. And the Christmas party was at Jensen's house, and he had a bunch of guitars hanging on the wall, and I didn't know anyone in the room, so I was just like, I will play the guitar. That makes the most sense to me. And so he came over and we just started jamming, and that was kind of the start of a friendship, and that was, I don't know, a really long time ago. And he and Christian Kane were buddies, fellow actors, and they had all come out after high school, so I was a little bit late to the party, a few years behind them. Yeah, and Steve was kind of right in that area at that time too. And we all played music together and performed and wrote stuff and traveled and just did a bunch of stuff. So it was kind of fun because we were all doing different stuff at different times, and some of us were singers or writers or actors or directors or whatever. Yeah, and it's been cool to kind of see everybody's path and trajectory go different directions and do different stuff. Yeah, that's generally speaking. Those are the parts I can tell you.
I love that. Can I ask for a request, please?
You may.
Can I hear Butterfly in the City?
Maybe.
What if I
I'll give it a shot.
What if I pay?
No, I'll give it a shot. For free.
Another Monday morning, a sea of gray winter coats, briefcases trudging to work, but somehow she just floats. Train doors slide open, stern faces pile in. By the time they open, everybody is smiling. The streets light up wherever she goes. She don't know just how it flows. The streets light up wherever she goes. She doesn't know. Butterfly in the city. It might be October, but the man said the sky is gray. But if you get to know her, still swear that it's May. Never sure just where she's going, it's clear just where she's been. The face you see is growing, every mouth has a grin. Streets light up wherever she goes. She don't know just how it flows. The streets light up wherever she goes. She don't know. Butterfly in the city. Butterfly in the city.
Thank you for the request. Hi.
Hi. First of all, I just want to say I hope you're much less sleep deprived than you were last year here in Chicago. I don't know if you remember.
I don't. Remind me.
Well, I had Friday and Saturday Man's Cave, and I joked with you on Saturday about something that happened Friday, and you had no memory of it because you'd missed a plane or you needed a new plane or something, and you hadn't slept at all.
Oh, that's right.
When you were on the stage on Friday. You were very tired. You had no memory of it. So that makes sense.
Yep.
That scans. Yeah, that happens sometimes.
I just had a song request, Something to Love, Jason Isbell.
I can give it a shot. That's funny. We do anywhere from 10 to 12 to 20 of these shows every year. And I never know, I know what city we're in, but I don't remember anything from the last con by the name of the city that we're in. I have to get to the parking deck or the green room. And then I'm like, oh, this is where, Rich's kid kicked the soccer ball into the ceiling and whatever, That didn't happen. Nothing was broken in any green room by us. It was all there before we got there, and we left it better than we found. We fixed things, actually.
Heart on the run, keeps a hand on the gun. You can't trust anyone. And I was so sure what I needed was more. Tried to shoot out the sun. The days when we raged, we blew off the page. Such damage was done. I made it through. Somebody knew I was meant for someone. So girl, leave your boots by the bed. We ain't leaving this room till someone needs medical help or the magnolias bloom. Cold in this house, and I ain't going out to chop wood. So cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. Put your faith to the test when I tore off your dress in Richmond all high. And I sobered up, yeah, I swore off that stuff forever this time. In your lover's scene, I thought it'd be me who helped him get home. Home was a place, one that I'd never seen till you came along. By the bed, we ain't leaving this room to passy priest break open wide and the river runs through. carries this house on a stone like a piece of driftwood. So cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. So girl, leave your boots by the bed, we ain't leaving this room. Someone needs magical help or the magnolias bloom. It's cold in this house, I ain't going out to chop wood. So cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. You cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good. You cover me up, I know you're enough to use me for good.
Thank you. Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you so much for the question. Hi.
I was just hoping you could sing your Kiss and All About That Bass mashup.
No. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if I remember it. It's been a long time since I played it. Are you by any chance planning on being at the Man's Cave? No offense. I'm not offended if the answer's no.
I normally am. I'm not as of yet, but it depends if you play this right now.
Interesting. I was going to go a different way with that. I was going to say, if you're there, I will play it for you.
Well, then I suppose maybe I'll be there.
Hey, that's awesome.
Good
Yeah,
sales check.
because I need to remember like the transition from the one. I need to remember, but I'll work on it and I'll play it for you at the Man's Cave.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, because that gives me a chance to say, listen, guys, I do this, my meet and greet is me and a guitar, and it's a Man's Cave. So I can play songs that I used to play and haven't played in a while and don't want to mess up in front of new people. And I'll also just like look stuff up on my phone. If you're like, hey, have you ever played that Dylan song? I'll be like, no, but I heard it once, I'll try. So yeah, feel free. I've got one today and one tomorrow, so check it out. Hi.
Hello again. I love how you sing Cover Me Up. It's beautiful, but I actually
Thank you.
requested Something to Love.
Did you really? Does anybody have that on video? Are we sure?
Let me check the tapes. Yep.
You recorded her question?
No, I recorded your singing.
Yeah, see, I feel like you would probably know. So that's probably my bad. I would love to sing that song for you.
I hope you find something to love, something to do when you feel like giving up. A song to sing or a tale to tell, something to love, it'll serve you well. Well, I was born in a tiny southern town, and I grew up with all my family around. We made music at the heist on Friday nights.
See what you did there?
Men with old guitars, smoking Winston lights. Old women harmonizing with the wind and singing softly to the Savior like a friend. They taught me how to make the chords and sing the words. I'm still singing like that gray speckled bird. I hope you find something to love, something to do when you feel like giving up. A song to sing or a tale to tell, something to love, it'll serve you well. Tonight we're lying on a blanket in the yard. The wind is cold, the sky is dark, and the ground is hard. But your mama loves to count the stars at night. So if I get a little chilled, then that's alright. I hope you find something to love, something to do when you feel like giving up. A song to sing or a tale to tell, something to love, it'll serve you well. You were born on a hot late summer day. We turned you loose and tried to stay out of your way. I don't quite recognize this world that you call home. Find what makes you happy, girl, and do it till you're gone. I hope you find something to love, something to do when you feel like giving up. A song to sing or a tale to tell, something to love, it'll serve you well. Something to love, it'll serve you well. Something to love, it'll serve you well.
Thank you. So, I just want to say this, technically, that song was written by Jason Isbell and Jason Mans. Because I changed a word. You know what I mean?
I think you made
It's a well-known rule in the songwriting industry, write a word, get a third. So, I feel like if he ever starts singing about the heist, yeah, that's it. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for being here with me.
I have a question. How did you end up in Bowling Green, Virginia?
Well, that's sometime in the year 1979, a man named Michael and a woman named Carol, who loved each other very much, decided, what's that?
Back in Bowling Green.
Oh, but how do I get back there? Oh, that's a much less uncomfortable question to answer. So when I grew up there, and then went to college, and when I graduated, I moved to Los Angeles, and I was there for 15 years. And my career took a weird trajectory, I guess. And when I first started in LA, I was doing singer-songwriter stuff. And then I started doing a lot of stuff for film and TV. And I had, music on a bunch of shows that you've never heard of, and a bunch of shows you have heard of, like Parks and Rec and Happy Endings and Up All Night, but just a bunch of kind of random network stuff. I started writing for film and TV specifically. People would kind of ask me, hey, I need a song that sounds like these guys, but we can't afford those guys, but we can afford you, so make it sound like those guys. And I'd say, okay. And so it kind of got to the point where I was either writing, which is at home, or playing shows, which were not in Los Angeles, and sometimes not even in the country. And I don't know, and we had, at the time, 2 kids, and it just kind of got to the point where it didn't make a whole lot of sense to be in Los Angeles, although I do love LA, had a blast, really enjoyed it in my 20s and my 30s. But if you don't need to be there for what you're doing, it doesn't make as much sense to be there. So we were kind of looking at a few different places, and my wife and I are both from Virginia, and her folks are there, my folks are there. And so we kind of just went back to be in and around family and let the kids hang out with their grandparents. And, you know, I like a little small town. I don't know if you wanted me to say the heavens opened and a hand came in and wrote on the wall or anything, but that didn't happen. We just kind of had a normal conversation. We were like, should we go somewhere else? And it just kind of made sense.
I cannot wait to visit the Heist.
I cannot wait for you to visit the Heist.
I cannot wait,
Yeah.
because my adopted daughter works there.
Who's your adopted daughter?
Who do you think?
The light is blinding me right now. Tell me which adopted daughter. Oh, yes. I see. Now I know. Right on. Very cool. Well, come anytime.
I will. I'm going to surprise her, so.
Good. Do you know about her new gig?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm a proud mom.
Yeah, good. We're excited. So another reason that we ended up in Bowling Green was when we would come and visit, the tiny town that I grew up in was slightly abandoned. There was like, you know, a lot of the windows were boarded up and downtown was just really sad. And so we kind of, you know, tried to jump in and do what we could do to help. So we opened the Heist, which is a live music venue on our kind of main street area, which is super fun. Live music from like Wednesday to Saturday. So if you're in Virginia, ever come through, hang out at the Heist. And kind of plenty of parking. And we've been, you know, kind of getting involved in some other stuff in the community and trying to help other people start businesses and do that kind of thing. So it's been a really fun, rewarding time back home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, part of a group of people that are all revitalizing, yeah. Yeah, come visit, come hang. Yeah, and there's a bookstore opening next month, or this month. Yeah, so we're excited too. Thank you for the question. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. You did a great job, trivia.
Thanks.
So close.
I guessed it. Oh wait, no. The last question I didn't guess. I knew it was a sub.
Well done.
Can you sing "Stand By Me"?
Nope.
Okay, thanks.
Never heard of it. I would love to sing that for you.
When the night is come, the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Ooh, stand now. Stand by me. If the sky we look upon tumble and fall. Oh, the mountain should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand by me. Ooh, stand now, stand by me. If ever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Ooh, stand now, stand by me.
Thank you for the request. Hi.
Hello. So my boyfriend wanted to hear this song, so I came up just to ask for him. So,
Okay.
Wayward Son?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How come he didn't ask?
No, if I could take the mic over there, I would take it.
And take it over and embarrass him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I, Carry On My Wayward Son, that one?
Yes.
Listen, I'm not legally allowed to sing that song because of a number of reasons.
Well, he didn't ask, so.
One being that I don't know it, and two, I produced Billy and Brianna singing a version of it, which everyone should go listen to, and it's beautiful. And also, while you're researching covers of "Carry On My Wayward Son," we have done an event in Germany a few years now. I think the 6th one just happened, and there are some traditions that I feel like when this crew gets together at a convention-like event. It's actually a music festival, but it's convention-like. There's a couple things that need to happen, and one of them is karaoke. And the first or second year, we were up on stage, and somebody was like, okay, we're gonna end this traditionally, the way you need to end karaoke at any supernatural event, which is we're gonna sing "Carry On My Wayward Son." And so we were like, all right, carry on, my wayward son, hit it. And the guy doing the DJ stuff was like, we're like, carry on, my wayward son, hit it. And he was like, so we're like, you don't have Carry On My Wayward Son? And he was like, and so Rob Benedict put on not his sidekick cape, but his Superman cape. And he did a cappella, including guitar solos, drum fills, and all. The entire song, solo, a cappella, karaoke. So, for those 3 reasons, I will never sing that song because I cannot do it justice after so much greatness has transpired on it. But I appreciate the request so very much. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Long time no see.
Has been minutes.
I know. So I was wondering, I know you're super busy with everything, but are you planning on doing quarantunes anymore?
Now, do you mean like an album, or do you mean
No, like, I mean on Tuesdays, like our...
like stage it stuff?
Stage it, yes.
Yeah, yes and no. So I'm replacing it, sort of. So at the Heist, we just added Wednesday nights. And a buddy of mine, Jonathan Brown, he's just one of those guys, like when you hear him sing, you're like, I don't ever not want you to be singing. You know what I mean? Like, that's I just want that soundtrack in my head all the time. And so he's doing a Wednesday residency. And I think that we're going to stream it, on stage it. And maybe I'll pop up for a song or two and join him for some stuff. But I think that's going to be, the new Quarantine Tuesday is going to be something that rhymes or has some sort of alliterative fun thing to say about Wednesdays at the Heist.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. It's a working title. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering if you could do an acoustic version of a song that I heard Jensen sing a long time ago. I love these conventions, and I did my research on them. He did a Son of a Bitch by McKinney from the Night Sweats. Long time ago, he was really good at it. Could you possibly do a acoustic version of that song?
Thank you very much. That song is so fun and lively, and it needs all of the things. Like it needs, it needs people doing the hum behind it needs a tambourine. It just, it's a lot. But I do love that song very much. Hello.
Hello. As a former college a cappella singer, how true to life are the Pitch Perfect movies?
They're spot on. They're spot on. I'd like to say I did a cappella before it was cool. Which, let's be honest, it still isn't. But it was for a minute. It's funny. I feel like anything college-y is college-y. So it doesn't matter if you're in a frat or a cappella group or a sports team or a whatever. It's just, that's the experience. Like those things are what you get. Thank you for that so much. I enjoyed that. We think we have time for one more question. If you have no? Did you just have some directions? That's a good chat. So, listen guys, I can tell by the ascending bass line behind me that my time here is up, but I appreciate so very much this song, and that we get to play it again for you.
1-877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids. 1-877 cars for kids. Jason Mann is on the stage. And now it's time for our next guest. Let's get it ready to rock the house with these maniacs. Get ready to burn the house to the ground! I see somebody dancing to it. We're winning them over. Oh, yeah, they're finally seductive. 1-877 cars for kids. KARS cars for kids. 1-877 cars for kids. Gil and DHJ. Ladies and gentlemen, David Haydn-Jones and Sheila Bear. Cars for kids. 1-877 cars for kids. Make your car today. One more time. 1-877 cars for kids. Take it, kids. 1-877 cars for kids. Donate your car today. This is working.
Nailed it.
It's finally working.
Never thought I'd ever sing that, ever.
Yeah, but now you've owned it.
Oh, I'm gonna put it on an album.
Dude, dope.
Bring it back.
Is that from when you were a kid in America?
No, it's
Yes.
a current active commercial that runs on the radio in the States.
But he's not familiar.
Jason's not either because he didn't run in Virginia. But it runs, does it run in Illinois? Does it run here? How many of you have never heard that song? How many of you now can't ever say that because you've heard it all day long, but like previous to today, how many of you have never heard that song? How many of you had heard that song? How many of those of you who'd heard that song, when you hear it in your car, want to drive headlong into a bridge abutment to take your own life? Exactly, it's that kind of song. And it's also, when you hear it, David, you got to know, when it started years ago, it's sung, at least the original commercial is sung by either a tone-deaf child or a grown-up trying to sound like a tone-deaf child. So it's like, because they're trying to play like, it's cute, your son's singing. Well, if my son sang like that, he wouldn't be singing, it's awful.
So I have so many questions
Donate your car today.
that the jingle does not answer. Why are kids getting cars? No,
you didn't know that in the United States. I know you're half American, but your half Canadian side is showing. No,
we drive at 5 in Canada. But
there you go.
Why are the kids getting cars?
It's a donation. So like you donate your car so the kids get some money. You're not donating your car so kids can drive around.
Why are kids getting cars?
If that were the case, the kids would be really into it. Dad, I heard the darndest commercial today.
They get me a car.
And the other part that used to make me so mad, Gil, you know this commercial, right? So
obviously.
The kid is singing, and then the second verse is sung by some dad figure who's actually then trying to actually think it like, what is cars for kids, kids. I'm like, I hate you both. I hate your whole family. I'll give you a car for kid if I can back over you with it.
So what you're saying is it's a for non-profit charity, one assumes.
Right.
Do you think we could open up their books? Is that public knowledge? Can we go find out what cars are kids or if they're profitable at all? I have so many questions.
I got to tell you something. Whoever wrote the jingle, I don't know if the charity's doing well, but whoever wrote the jingle is making bank.
You think so?
Yeah, because they've spoofed it on Family Guy. They've spoofed it on Kimmel. Like they've done bits of it, and somebody's got to get paid for that.
But the kids in the commercial, I'm willing to bet, haven't gotten a
No,
dime.
not them. The writer of the jingle. The writer of the jingle's got this like probably dope fur coat and drives around like a Lamborghini.
See now, if he really cared about cars for kids,
his license plate, cars for kids.
He's got to start a new charity, Minks for Kids. Donate your mink coat today.
He donated his publishing to the cause.
Yeah, but he doesn't care about the kids.
Yeah.
Not that dude.
This is the quality content, Chicago.
Listen,
Richard Spade.
everybody's learning something today. Everybody's learning something today.
Showbiz nerds trying to figure out where the monetization of Cars for Kids. Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's Friday.
What's up, Friday? Well, you guys came to the right place.
Your numbers are doppeled, but I can feel your excitement and energy.
Their numbers are doubled?
Well, their numbers are doubled around the
scattered.
This is Gil McKinney. I'm Haydn-Jones.
Hey.
We're in a show called Supernatural. You may have heard of it.
Yep.
We're both men of letters, where we played men of letters.
That's right.
On the TV show.
That's right.
And look, we got lines already. Should we just jump into questions?
We should. Before we do that, I told David at the last convention I was going to watch some of his episodes. And I did.
And you did?
Not all of them yet.
No.
But a good 4 or 5.
You got a taste.
I was like so jealous of what you got to do.
Oh,
what a cool character.
Well, thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you too.
But now thank you. I'm more educated. So like, let's see how this goes. You don't have to ask questions about that, but you know.
Because Gil would be like, so in a fight, would you win or would Ketch win? You're like, who's Ketch? Like, that's a bad look for the panel. It's like I better do at least a little bit.
No, I dove into season 12, right? And that when you're introduced,
season 12 was kind of
I mean, pretty fun stuff going on in season 12.
We had a good time.
I enjoyed the shit out of it. You know, I was like, this show's pretty good. Maybe I should watch more.
Yeah. I still have to watch the whole season. That's my next quest. There's just so little time in the world.
Yeah, no, I love the character you built up, because I've heard you talk about how you did it, and I'm like the toffee-nosed and, How did you describe it?
The toffee-nosed fop, sort of the classist.
Yeah.
Received pronunciation of the King's English.
You look cool as shit, though, man. Like, pulling up in the Bentley. Shooting off bazookas.
I mean, this is what, as a little boy, you know, we have those roles.
Yeah.
I'll tell you mine, but like when you get to like the car handler and the props guys were amazing. As you know, the art direction on the show is incredible. Like the world is so sumptuous and beautiful and just really cool stuff. They told me that Bentley was at least $350,000 at least.
Right.
And they were like, be gentle. Like I basically got to like, they did all the pulling up with the tinted windows, and I got to like, wink, on the mark.
That's funny.
And then the door opened, and you got the nice leather shoes, and then the like $2,000 Hugo Boss suit or whatever.
I did a commercial recently for Mercedes for their new electric EQS.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the same thing. It was like, they would let me sit in it.
Yeah.
And then there was one take where they're like, all right, Gil, we just want you're just going to drive off. And I'm like, really? And then I'm like, cool. I start to go, they're like, stop! Like, they're like, no, you're just going to like roll. Like 2-3 feet. And then get the fuck away from the car. Go back to your trailer.
Dude, I got upgraded to stunt driving pay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but scary. It's just fun, nerdy, behind show business.
On Supernatural?
You don't mind? Not on Supernatural.
Oh, okay.
On a Volvo commercial.
Oh.
In the mountains of Colorado, with 2 kids in the back.
Oh, what could go wrong?
On a sheer rock face. Like, have you seen some of those YouTube videos of truckers in India and like the Himalayas? That's what I felt, the Himalayas, sorry. And we're like the 2 trucks just squeeze past each other. You're like, how the hell is this happening? The director was yelling and screaming at me, like not at me, but he was just trying to get his day. And they wanted me to back out. He was like, further. And I was like, it was one of these SUVs that was riding really high. And like my blind spot's like, you're looking over and you're like, I'm off the cliff, bro. And I got 2 kids back there. And I was like, this is when you have to be brave sometimes on set and just be like, I'm not doing that. And I've never thrown a fit or said no on a set before, but when I have 2 kids of precious cargo and there's a sheer rock face drop, but then they wanted me to do all the hairpins. They got the kids out, so then
kids are out. Go for it.
Okay, now back in, David. Yeah, kids first.
They had a replacement of you. They had your doppelganger waiting in the wings.
Fucking Ben Affleck wannabe. Like, get out of here. But then they said that we're doing these, like, literally these hairpin curves. Apparently this is a very famous road in the Colorado mountains, just outside of Denver, where a lot of cyclists go. And the whole thing was my wife was training for like a big bike race, and we're cheering her on from behind the Volvo, You're probably like...
Is this recent?
Like 7 years ago.
Okay, sounds familiar.
But it was like high rotation, one of those like big car commercial things. But then they were like, okay, now it's the end of the day, we're all going to go back down. We want these like sweet shots of you going through these hairpin turns in the Volvo. And the director's just like, you can do it, man. You're good. Just do it. They're like, that was great, but can you do it without hitting the brakes this time? We don't want to see the brake lights on the Volvo. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, just downshift, bro. And I was like, do we not have a stunt driver? I was like, I'm like, they're just like, come here. And they're mad at me, right? When they're like, this is what happens in show business, like where they keep going and they don't take safety seriously. And they're pushing to get their day and there's so much money on the line, but this is where accidents happen. So again, I was just like, excuse me, slow it down. I was like, and he's like, just here, I'll show you. The director's getting in there. And you can tell he's kind of like under his breath. He's not saying, he's like, fucking pussy. This is how people die on set, sir. I'm just saying it in my mind. And he's like, just downshift. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I was like, I had to go above his head. I had to go to like the producers and the ad agency and be like, this guy's asking me to do stuff outside of my wheelhouse that I don't feel comfortable doing. And like this, we're getting into non-safe thing. And because at the beginning of a day, the stunt and production coordinator always has a safety meeting. So I was like, but then no one takes it seriously. It's like one of those like, okay, everybody, make sure you got your masks, and we're just making sure that we're drinking enough water today, and just stay safe. And everyone's like, fuck this, hammer. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know if that makes sense to you. He gets it. Hammer. And I said, okay, I'll give it a go. And just to fuck with him, I went 5 miles an hour. I was like, you can speed it up in post, but you got no tail lights.
Yeah.
They're like, fine.
Wait, so he said, would you put in neutral and just coast? You said downshift.
Downshift.
Is this manual?
Yeah, well, it was one of those like hybrids.
Oh, okay, I got
with
you.
a synchro mesh where you could actually go into both. It's like the illusion of your shifting.
Sure.
You're like, it's so you can do trucker downshift down the mountain.
Yeah.
It's like I'm playing make believe that I'm actually using the gears because I grew up on a stick shift, right? Like the OG.
You could do that. Yeah.
This was like silly. There was no clutch. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know how we got on that tangent. The point being is, stay safe, everybody. Just stay safe.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
This is what our panels are, though. Our panels are like random tangents of.
That's what it's about.
Of weirdness. So let's go over here. Did we even take a question yet?
No, that's what's so weird.
All right. Hey.
Hello. My question is kind of, I guess, more for David because, Gil, you're a part of the Winchesters.
Yeah, cool.
But in the Winchesters, Dean is able to travel between the multiverses. And so if he were to meet your characters in a different multiverse, what kind of character would you want to play?
Me? In the Winchesters?
Yeah.
That's not Ketch.
That's not Catch. Or it could be Catch, just a different
Oh,
version
well,
of him.
actually, we did talk about this. This is actually legit, and now it'll probably never happen. I could just make it canon here today, or head canon. We were at a party, and it was actually one of my very first conventions, actually, where this very brilliant person in the audience who had done a lot of research. Have you heard this before? Some of you have heard me talk about it, but there's a character and this is a real life history of England. In the 1600s, I believe, John Ketch, otherwise known as Jack Ketch, was a famous executioner in the public square. He did beheadings for the king. So I like the idea that Ketch is from a long line of British executioners. So I like the idea of playing an old Jack Ketch from the 1600s, yeah. And fucking going to town and chopping off people's fucking heads. How would that be?
Shagging.
Nice, yeah, shagging. That was the other thing. Shagging broads and fucking
wrong, baby, yeah.
And then I think we did this at another panel. Like it just started spiraling. I want like a night, like Ketch's dad to make an appearance, but he's sort of like Austin Powers, man.
Did you say he shags the corpse?
No, I didn't.
Chops the heads and shags.
Oh no, I must have misheard you. Sorry. That's called a Gil tell right there. That's on you, my brother. But like, just if sort of, back in rolling in 16s London, yeah, fucking John Ketch, Arthur's dad, yeah, was all having a good time. Austin Powers, like, I
love it.
I'd watch that.
I would. I think we all just did.
So, there's your new spin-off, everybody. The Ketch Legacies.
Hi.
Hi.
This is for David. I hear a rumor you have a new movie coming out. Can you tell us anything
Oh,
about
hi.
it?
Can you say that again louder?
I heard a
He heard you. He heard you just fine.
I heard a rumor that you have a new movie coming out.
Yeah, I can't believe everything you hear.
Can you tell us anything about it?
I can tell a little bit about it. There's
Please do.
I just finished a movie. Okay, next question. I had an amazing time in Northern Ontario, of all places, and it was a really new challenge for me because I had to learn a quick ballroom jive with Lindy Hop at 182 BPMs for a full ballroom style competition in 3 weeks. Does anyone here do ballroom dancing or has done partner dancing?
Uh-oh.
Yeah? And you know everything about the frame and all that stuff. And how long have you been doing it for? Oh, wow. Okay. So you know the poise, the elegance. It's the muscle memory to get any style whatsoever.
Demonstration.
I don't think Gil would be up to the challenge. He tends...
I'll be up, all right.
He tends to, what we say in the ballroom world, he back leads. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. No back lead. I got some yucks over here. There's some laughs of recognition.
Back lead or
back
door?
Yeah, see. Listen, you skull fucker, you shut up. Sorry, kids have signed the waivers. We're good. We do that now, like adult comedy content. Great. So that was wild to try to learn. Because it was really interesting because like art imitates life a little bit. I did dance from 15 to 23 professionally, but it's like jazz, modern, like ba ba da 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 ba, like that stuff.
Like Fosse.
But that's jazz, modern, musical theater.
Yeah.
But your chorus dancing is totally different than partner dancing. And finding that like frame and then the thing and then the ba 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 and just the right amount of tension and getting your head and the spins and the double and the holy moly. Hardest thing I've ever done for a movie. The guy in the movie only has 3 weeks to learn it. On top of it all, who here watches Dancing with the Stars? Anyone still kind of watch it? Yeah, smattering. Yeah, like
8 people. But you know the show.
We're supernatural people here. It's not Hallmark or anything. But one of the big stars, as it turned out, I found this on my third day of rehearsal. We only had like 3 days with my co-star to rehearse actually, so I had to learn it separately in LA, then go to Northern Ontario. Then we had 3 days for us, and then the competition day was day 1 of shooting.
Oh, wow.
So in my brain, I had to prep like the character in the movie that I was going to a competition in 3 weeks.
Did you like that? Did that feel like that worked for you performance-wise?
Yeah, because you're just
and you got to get that out of the way.
Oh, it was so great.
Yeah.
Because it was like, NAR, no acting required. Like, because the frustration and the fear and the torture and the pain. The other thing that I did, so many new muscles when you're in frame. Like, I was having all this, like, back stuff and leg stuff and, like, 90-minute rehearsal. I'd be like, what the heck just happened? And I'm like, I work out. But I mean, it was like the difference in the cardio and just all the stabilizer muscle and, like, the frame and the tuck and
the tuck?
Whoa. Yeah.
What are we talking?
Well, God.
Did you wear a dance belt?
Yeah, I did.
Didn't we talk about a dance belt?
We did talk about dance belts before I went to shoot the movie.
Right.
You love talking about me in a dance belt.
Do you guys know what a dance belt is for men? Okay, well, apparently I had a very different experience with a dance belt than you had. Did we talk about this? Because I did musical theater when I was younger, and I would do like summer stock musical theater, and all the guys would wear dance belts, and I was more of I wasn't doing like crazy dancing, but I felt like I needed to wear this thing. So it's basically like a jock strap, but a thong.
See, that's where we differ. Yeah,
that's where we differ.
That's where we differ.
So I'm telling him this. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember having to wear that thing.
And I said, you're wearing
it holds everything together, but then it had this band that went up your ass, like a thong, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm telling him this. I'm like, oh man, I feel for you. I wore that doing musical theater when I was younger, and he's like, wait, what? He goes, no, it goes like around your butt cheek, like to kind of lift your butt cheeks, I think. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think mine went right in between my butt hair.
He was wearing it backwards, folks. That's what we learned. Yeah, we did talk about this.
I was not wearing it backwards. That would have been a whole other story.
Well, no,
it would have been like a division sign down there.
If you were wearing it up the crack, then then you were Mr. Bojangles out front. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, there was a pouch in the front that held it together.
You were double pouching?
It's a single pouch.
Okay, well.
Anyway,
listen.
Apparently, my experience with the dance belt is different than yours.
Yes, it is. Because all I remember is the guys who wear the dance belts. Because I used to do a musical theater show. I worked at one of my jobs on my way to becoming a professional. Was at a amusement park, Canada's Wonderland, Paramount Canada's Wonderland, outside of Toronto.
Right.
And 1 year at college, I did that. I was a singer-dancer there, and like the hardcore dancers, like there was a few of us who were like, I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing that.
Right.
So you just wear very thin, lean, tighty whities.
Sure.
But the dance belt I'm talking about was a full cheek lift and separator. It was like two bands that would
nothing down the middle.
Raise the buttocks.
I'm wearing one right now.
Put it on your chest. We're gonna teach you.
And then I just thought, man, maybe I wasn't wearing a dance belt. Maybe I was just wearing a thong the whole time.
Wearing a thong.
Maybe somebody was fucking with me.
You just gave it a fancy name.
Here you go. This is what all the guys wear.
That's right. Let's get Gil. How did this happen? Okay. This is what Gil and I do.
Yeah.
But thank you. Yes, movie coming out for fall. You can watch my posts. There's going to be reveals. But anyways, what was really fun too is one of the Dancing with the Stars, a very famous hot dude, plays my nemesis, and he's amazing. And he's like very famous and gorgeous, and he's so hot it hurt my feelings. No, in a good way, because it's accurate for story. The guy couldn't have been the most nicest, beautiful guy. He gave me coaching. He'd never acted before, so I helped him with his acting, and he helped me with his dancing. It was beautiful, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I call it like Strictly Ballroom meets Rocky meets the full Monty, with a lot less Monty. That's what I'm saying. But like the idea of like the middle class dad who puts on a show in the end. Come on!
I can't wait.
It's so fun.
When's it come out?
I'll be announcing soon. We don't have a title yet. There's all the PR departments keep it under them.
Right.
But yeah, we just wrapped that, so I'm just like.
It's great, man. Congrats. Hey.
Hi. Okay, so I'm going to try to get through this without fumbling over, but my question's for Gil. So in season 4, episode 3, in the beginning, it's mentioned that John's father is still around, and some bystander says, "Say hi to your old man for me," and then he says, "Okay." And then in season 8, when the episode where you come in, you are revealed to be gone and disappear without a trace.
Right.
My question is, how do you think that happened, or was it just
Okay, so
a mistake?
it's a good question, and I've heard this. You know, I'm not a big social media guy, but I've heard this discrepancy discussed a bit. I don't know that I can give you a great answer to that. Season 4, can you explain to me what exactly happened?
Yeah, actually, season.
How old is John in that episode?
He's just gotten back from Vietnam.
Just gotten back from Vietnam, right? And somebody says, "Say hi to your old man for me."
A bystander in the diner says, "Say hi to your old man," and it's revealed in the episode you're in that he disappeared when he was a kid.
What's John's response when he gets back from the war and somebody says that?
I will.
I will. That's all he says. I will.
Yeah.
Gil, can I just interject right now? I love what you're doing right now. Yeah. You're like a cold reader in a psychic's office right now. You're like, I'm getting. It's a J name. It's a J. What episode? It was an episode. Right? Yeah. Episode.
We all have our styles.
That's right. And I'm feeling. Okay, keep going with your. This is really good.
Season 4, episode what?
3 in the beginning.
Just be quiet. I'm trying to get some information over here. What episode?
Season 4, episode 3 in the beginning.
Okay. I'll refresh my memory on that one. Yeah, that's a great question. So it insinuates that Henry's still around at that point. But you don't know. I mean, right? You don't know. You don't see him. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe John's just like, I'll say hi to him when I fucking see him again. You know, I don't know. He's been gone since I was like 8 or whatever. Oh, it's a good question. I really don't know. I'll have to, it could just be one of those writing kind of like things. Because in season 4, Henry's mentioned, but I don't think that character, and I know for a fact that like Men of Letters wasn't something that was fleshed out at that point, you know what I mean? So maybe it's just one of those writing little like things that doesn't quite line up. That would be my best guess.
But see this, in all seriousness, I love that sort of attention to detail. And one of the things that I love about having gotten to know a lot of you in this fandom is you are story and canon like sticklers. Like really, and it's like legit, and like I say this with love as a fellow nerd, your nerd cred is strong. So I guess, other than the wiki sites, is there like a famous blog called Supernatural Storyline Inconsistencies? Is there someone
There's gotta be.
Is there someone who has literally made it their life's mission to like do the logical or through lines or justify them? You know what I mean? Does that exist? Someone should make that happen.
I mean, look, you're talking about 15 seasons, 23 episodes a season.
Yes.
Like I don't know how many
and different showrunners.
Different writing teams. I think they did their best to be consistent, but you're going to have little like bobbles here and there, right? So that would be my best guess as to what that was. Maybe somebody wanted to plant the seed of Henry.
The nice thing we can do now is just blame the multiverse. That is the best get out of jail free writing technique ever. Well, it was in the multiverse. Little photons and quarks of time are infinitely happening right now. In another universe, I'm actually being funny right now. I don't know. Debatable, Jones. Infinity -1 chance. Anyways, I love
That's
the
a good question, though.
I love the attention
Thank you for
to
that
detail.
question.
In all seriousness. Hi.
Hi, guys. Looking forward to you guys performing. I'm assuming either for karaoke tonight or for the concert tomorrow, I'm assuming, right?
I'll be, you're performing, aren't you, bud?
Right.
I almost
right?
spoke into my water bottle. Wait, yes, what was the question? Singing?
No, it wasn't. You guys are performing at either karaoke tonight
Oh yeah,
or
well,
the concert tomorrow,
we're here
right?
tonight. Yeah, we're here tonight and balls.
Okay.
Yeah, and tomorrow night. I just got scared.
Yeah, what'd you get scared of?
I don't know, dude.
Okay. The question actually is for Gil, though. I wanted to ask you about your movie Metamorphosis, and
Okay.
if you have anything new coming out as well.
Oh, well, it's going to be a slow summer. I don't know if you guys have heard there's a writer's strike going on.
Probably followed by an actor strike. Probably followed by a director strike.
Yeah.
So we're all just gonna bang it all together.
So thank God that we get to come hang out with you guys during this time and do this, because it's going to be, I think it's going to be it's going to be a quiet few months. I don't have any exciting thing to announce like that, but yeah, Metamorphosis, shot that, I believe it was like August or September of 2020. So, right in the throes of COVID, and went to Canada. Did you say where? Yeah, where was it? Yeah, it was we shot east of Toronto is the Thousand Islands. Yeah. And so we shot this movie on like a semi-private island. Did you have your COVID bubble then? We had, God bless my wife for letting me go do this, because I left her with, basically, a 5-month-old and our daughter, and I was gone for about 5 weeks, because Canada at the time said, you can come in, but you have to quarantine. You got to quarantine for 2 weeks. So basically, it was like it was awesome for me. It sucked for my wife, but I got to go to a private island with the director, the executive producer, and the director of photography, and the 4 of us guys hung out in this house on this private island in the Thousand Islands, and we all tested, before we went in. Everybody's good, and we just quarantined in this house on this island, and we were actually going to shoot in that house all over that island. So it was 2 weeks of like getting to prep for the movie, and it was awesome. It was just awesome, and and then the movie was, we worked 6 days a week. It was one of those kind of things, low budget independent film, didn't make a ton of money, but it was a blast, and it was basically like what happened? Something I said? Who was standing behind me?
Camera panning.
Oh. This is what I do. So anyway, yeah, it was a blast. It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of cold nights in the woods, like running around in a dance belt. You know, there was some of that going on.
And that's the movie you had to pee yourself, right?
Yes. No, I didn't have to pee myself. I chose to pee.
You chose to pee.
Yes, dude. I'm method. I'm like fucking. I'm like a Harvey Keitel over here.
I love it. French lieutenant.
God, I'm sorry, Mom. We're gonna. Yeah. Now we told this story a few weeks ago. There's a scene where I'm having like a full breakdown. I'm sick, and you don't really know what's going on, but it's the metamorphosis. And I'm leaning up against a tree, and I lose my faculties, and I urinate myself. And so we were trying to shoot fast, you know, this is a low budget thing, and they were trying to rig up like a little contraption, you know, and it was gonna be a whole thing. I was like, guys, let's just shoot it. I'll just piss, it's fine. I'll just do it. So I slammed like 8 bottles of water and nailed it. Just nailed the take. 2 takes, one down the left leg, one down the right leg. They were like, damn, like he can pee on cue and action.
Let me tell you something, folks. They don't teach this in theater school.
They don't.
That's and for a reason. Well, there's liability and septic issues, but that's commitment.
The first AD was like beside himself. He was like, I didn't know. He's like, and then the poor wardrobe girl, she's like pale. I was like, it's fine. I will wash them. So I took him into the house and gave him a good scrub. But yeah, so how did we get on that? Yeah, that's the best story from Metamorphosis. If you haven't seen it, it's a like a almost 90-minute slow burn horror film. Pretty good.
Or you can just go to his TikTok channel and watch him pee himself for like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's an option too. That's trending right now.
OnlyFans.
I literally got that clip trending on the tickety talk. You're welcome. Okay.
Yeah, it was a blast.
I'm gonna watch this movie now. You did me the solid of catch. I'm gonna watch Metamorphosis.
All right, appreciate it.
I'm gonna freeze frame it. I'm gonna film it with my phone.
Oh God, now I'm really scared.
Now I'm gonna send it to you.
This is Bree. She told me that she's got a dirty mind and she's gonna have a question. And
I'm
I'm
glad
scared.
we've already set the tone for this, because that's where we're headed. So, when you eat a taco, do you turn your head to the left or the right?
Oh my gosh.
When you eat a taco,
How is that dirty?
Oh, she wants us to do it. She wants us. When I eat a taco, do I turn my? I think Should I use the microphone?
So they come in the United States. What? In California? No, in LA. They come in these little silver trays. You have those, you know, with the fancy tacos, the gourmet tacos. Some are right-handed. Grabbing one. I turn it around. No, I cradle it. Sometimes I like to eat.
Do you go one hand or two?
Sometimes I like to peel the sides back.
And you cup it.
Just eat the insides.
Oh, nice.
Is that what you wanted, Bree? Is that what you wanted?
That's exactly what I wanted, thank you.
What was the question?
It's so funny. You said in LA the fancy tacos come in like trays.
That's so bougie and stupid.
I know. I'm like Taco Bell. They come in a fucking like dirty piece of paper.
I don't listen. Let me tell you something about Taco Bell and Chipotle. 3 strikes and you're out, my friends.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. There's a reason I call Chipotle Chipotle spray with my friends.
Chipotle spray.
Never again. Never again. That's how your body knows. Your body's telling you something. And you listen to your body. That ain't food. They may dress it up. Oh, we're organic. Look at us, some Chipotle. No.
You hear that?
What you did to me that night, Chipotle.
You hear that sizzle? You hear that sizzle?
Forgive you.
You hear that spray?
No. Listen,
Chipotle's
I have this cute term with my daughter for when you have a little bit of an upset stomach. We call it the bubble guppies. I know, it's cute, right?
That's cute.
But what's nice about it too, who has kids here or had little ones that watch TV? Bubble guppies?
It's not really a thing anymore, bubble guppies.
Remember that awful theme song? Bubble, 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 guppy, 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 bubble guppies. And parents just wanted to murder themselves in their own homes in front of their child. So that was banned as quickly. But I think that song is so horrible, but the term is so cute for an upset stomach. Sort of, it all works out in the end.
It is cute.
It all works out in the end. Hey-o. There we go.
Hey-yo.
What was the question? Okay, bye. Moving on.
Like 180. Hi, my question is for Gil. What was your experience like coming back for the Winchesters?
Oh man, it was, I mean, honestly, it was a dream come true, really. As some of you have heard this before, and I appreciate the question because, it doesn't appear that I'm gonna get to play him again as of now, and I'm just so grateful that I got to again because, the show changed my life. I only did 2 episodes of Supernatural. Obviously, I would have loved to have done more. Had they written more, I think it would have been very, very cool, but they didn't. But it opened up this whole thing, and I've been doing these since 2014, on and off, some years more than others. But I really had to, because I got the question all the time, are we going to see Henry again? When's Henry coming back? That kind of thing, and it's after a while, it starts to feel like a drag, because you start to realize it's not going to happen, And I still held out hope until the end, and it didn't happen, So when Jensen texted me one random Tuesday afternoon, do you have a minute to talk? I said no. Fuck off. No, I was like, yeah, Jensen, call me whenever. And he called me just kind of out of the blue. And he and I are friendly, but we don't communicate through the phone very often. And I'd heard that it might happen. I'd heard actually from Elena Huffman, who played Abaddon. She called me one day or texted me. I was in the car and she asked me or maybe she said congratulations on the Winchesters pilot. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you're doing it, right? And I'm like, I know it's happening, but nobody's reached out at all or anything. I don't know anything. And she said, well, because I just got an audition scene. She was auditioning for Millie. She got an audition for Millie, and in the scene it says Henry Winchester as played by Gil McKinney, and it's the letter, it's the reading of the letter and all that, and I'm like, so she sent it to me, and I was like, wow. So I was like, so I call my manager, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna send you something. He hadn't heard anything. Obviously, if he had, he would have told me. So anyway, I just had to be really patient, as I had been for years, and then Jensen finally called, and it was really fucking cool, and I was so excited. Did you do the VO? I did the VO in the pilot. Yeah. Oh yeah. Quick story. Yeah. So Jensen reached out a month or so later and was like, we want to get some a template of you doing the VO. Because they were in the middle of shooting or whatever, but they just want to get a template to put in when they were starting to edit of me doing the voiceover. And he calls me and I'm like, buddy, I'm happy to do it, whatever you need, but I've got COVID right now. My whole family, we were down with COVID. It was the only time I've gotten it. But I was holed up in my little home office, I think because I was the first one to get it. And I did the template with COVID. And did 3 or 4 takes just on my phone and sent them to Jensen. And then, a couple months after that, I went into Warner Brothers and actually got to do the real VO. But yeah, it was a dream come true. It was so fun to get to go to New Orleans and shoot. The cast was wonderful. 10 years later, getting to, play Henry again was it's phenomenal. And getting to, reunite with John, in a sense, was really, really cool and emotional and stressful. And I just wanted to do a good job. And it was a long day, and I was exhausted by the end. And Drake was amazing, and Richard Speight was average as a director. But so what you're gonna get when you get to. I'm just kidding. That was the other really cool thing is originally John Showalter was supposed to direct the episode. And that's why when I went to do the voiceover, John Showalter was there, and so he was supposed to direct it, and then they switched him around for whatever reason, scheduling. And so, like a week before I went to New Orleans, Richard texted me. He's like, "Buddy, I'm gonna be down there. I'm directing the episode." So that was really cool, you know. And yeah, dream come true. Thank God it happened because I wanted it to happen for so long, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question for the both of you.
Okay.
Actually. So you obviously play like Ketch and Henry, right? If you could play any other character except the characters that you played, who would you play?
Ketch.
Now you
Dude, I was like, damn, that's so fucking, like, you got to do so much cool stuff. No, it's a great character,
so
man.
fun, man.
Yeah.
It was really the gift that kept on giving, like, and also just because you didn't know it was going to keep giving. That was so fun for me, because I was only booked for 3.
Right.
Like, and one of them was like a tiny little, that first phone call.
Right.
After.
Why did you kill that poor girl?
Because she was terrible and deserved to die.
Oh, okay. But you're right, that your first episode was that literally that.
Was it just a phone call? I've cleaned up the Winchesters mess.
Was it you really riding the bike in the earlier scene?
No, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
With the time of the bike.
He had a different ass than you, so I didn't.
Did you notice?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't wearing his dance belt. That's how you know.
That's how you know.
That's how you know. So that's cool, Ketch.
Yeah.
I've said this before, but it's problematic because there is only one, and Mark Shepard is the man, is the king.
Yeah.
But Crowley, wow,
Yeah,
what a
that's a
role.
fun
If you're gonna like do any other role.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
But can you even imagine anyone else but
No.
Shepard in that role? No.
You'd be great, but yeah, he's brilliant.
I've said this to Mark, and Mark and I said this in Utah. We know that Ketch and Crowley had a relationship because they've done deals together, especially we know the Hellhounds, we know the British Men of Letters had stuff going on with Crowley. I just would really have loved to have had a Ketch Crowley scene. You know what I mean? Just them having some sort of negotiation and, right? Like just, someone write that, please. Because, but we were just saying, like, and just I wanted to work with Mark. Well, and both Marks, actually.
Yeah.
I was so sad I really only got that tiny little throwing a bomb scene with Pellegrino.
Yeah.
I just would have loved to have gone toe-to-toe, like, really, like, be in a fight with him as Lucifer, as Ketch. Remember when I was hunting him? I really thought I was going to get a battle with him. And then, well, Asmodeus kicked my ass instead. So there was that. But yeah, so Crowley, but obviously there's only one Crowley.
So you were saying you were originally only supposed to do how many episodes?
3 episodes.
Oh yeah, and then how many did you do?
19, but who's counting?
Yeah, what was that like? That's cool. That's awesome. So happy for you.
I haven't checked my IMDb lately.
No, dude, no. It's fine. It's totally fine.
It's ballpark.
No, I'm just more of like a quality over quantity kind of actor.
100%. Listen, bro.
I'm a less is more kind of guy.
People hated my character, still do. Thought it was terrible.
What?
Listen, no, some people do.
Why did you slit the throat of the poor Asian kid in the thing where you went in and murdered everybody?
It's called doing my job, bro.
Season 12, episode 4?
Check into it. It's called being a professional.
He wouldn't have said anything. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You know that scene? Where you go back in there and just slay them all, including this sweet, innocent kid? Yeah. Bridge too far, bro.
Excuse me, being a Richard, if you don't mind. Please use the King's English. I prefer to call him a daft twat, if you don't mind. A toffee-nosed git, if you will. Yes, you're right. But who here thinks Ketch was redeemed in the end? See, but I love that. I love that. That's 50-50. There's a 50-50 love-hate Ketch.
Yeah.
For you.
You love to hate him. Yeah.
You know, like toe fungus, but great.
Yeah, like syphilis. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Does syphilis grow on you?
All right, gonorrhea.
Let's oh, Jesus. You're making me feel weird in my dance belt parts. What was the question? What? Oh yeah, crowd.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, it's you, right?
We better come back from that. I hear the band backstage.
I'm almost afraid to ask this now, but
Should be.
have you guys ever landed a role that you were embarrassed to tell your family about?
Oh, all the time. Yes. No, no, the only one that comes to mind, really, where I was like, please don't watch. I did an episode of CSI, like the original, yeah, it was the original CSI, and I auditioned. I had like 3 scenes that I auditioned with. It was the 8th time I had auditioned for CSI, and I was kind of like, yeah, like F this, like anyway. So I get it. Have I told you this story? No. I go to the wardrobe fitting, and they pull out a rack